On my kicker tonight, there are a few constants in the Kenyan electoral politics that seemingly no one may ever do anything about. I would understand if tonight there is a Kenyan patriot out there who is deeply frustrated to the point of giving up on some of those constants, and specifically the culture of violence and intimidation and the culture of handouts and voter bribery. The incident in Kondele, Kisumu, where rowdy youth on Tuesday stoned the campaign convoy of Deputy President William Ruto, must add to the collective frustration of decent Kenyan citizens who understand that such violence has been and remains a constant in the country's politics, especially around general elections. A statement by the police spokesman Bruno Shioso attributed the violence to what he termed tension owing to the alleged distribution of campaign logistical funds among local groups. The police attributed their assertion to what they termed intelligence gathered in Kondele. As I wonder why the police could not use the same intelligence to forestall violence that followed, I cannot help reaching the conclusion that Kondele was indeed a convergence of the two ugly constants in Kenyan politics, money and violence. And these two constants are not accidental. Money and violence is by design at the core of Kenya's political architecture. I dare say money and violence constitute the two highly prized items in the must-carry starter pack for most successful political careers in Kenya. It has become part of our accepted political culture, and politicians deploy them at will to serve their political purposes. And this should frustrate every decent Kenyan that still lives in the hope that one day civility and ideas would displace violence and money as tools of political persuasion during elections. Every decent Kenyan should be frustrated by the fact that a significant segment of Kenya's electoral leadership is a product of money and violence. Some of them are decorated stone throwers who would put to shame the childish display witnessed in Kondele yesterday. Yet more frustration should be directed at the fact that little or nothing can be done to end the twin culture of money and violence as the bedrock of Kenyan democracy. Recently, politicians raised to the ground an attempt by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, to regulate campaign funding. Politicians want to keep the electoral space, particularly anything to do with money, as foggy and cloudy as it is today. They abhor transparency and accountability. They do not want to entertain questions about how money for campaigns is sourced, or indeed how that money is spent. They want it to remain dark, mysterious, and unaccountable. Decent citizens should also remain concerned that the epidemic of handouts and voter bribery remains an integral part of the Kenyan political culture. Whether they call it campaign logistics funds or empowerment funds or even facilitation fees, no one should be fooled by the grammar. These are handouts, and if the law was to ever work, they constitute an electoral offense. And so to me, Kondele did provide a perfect intersection of two of Kenya's foremost electoral evils, money and violence. Predictably, and without a trace of irony, political leaders have followed the Kondele's tones with a series of high-minded speeches and press conferences, condemning violence and pointing accusing fingers. If only you could get a glimpse of their respective political toolboxes, the amount of cash, the number of stones. To paraphrase the Holy Bible, they have all fallen short of the glory. That is my kicker.